G'day everyone, I'm Troy, I'm from Microsoft, and welcome to our fifth and final in the series, The Inclusive Classroom, brought to you by Microsoft and also the NDCO's National Disability Coordination Offices. We have worked really hard over the last 4 episodes to show you reading support, writing support, speaking and listening support, etc. And now what we want to do is we want to show you how to bring all these great tools into your school and into your institution. So not just to train students, but to train staff and to train, colleagues and other people that you work with, and even a little bit for families and carers as well. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to take you through a lot of these resources because there's a lot. I'm going to show you where to find them. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the uses of some of these and how you may use them in your school or in your institution. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to jump in. I'm going to talk to you first and foremost about the slides. Now, because there is so much in today's session, the slides are really important because the slides are full of the links, right? And so you can actually click on those and find all the good resources. So knowing where to find them is the beginning and then how to use them. So here, as you can see on your screen, aka.ms/NDCO. So that's aka.ms/NDCO. Go ahead, download those slides now, and then you'll be able to, to grab all the links out of those and use them as you, learn yourself, work with your students, but also help train your colleagues in this space. Microsoft's mission statement is to empower every person and every organisation on the planet to achieve more. And I hope that that's what this series of workshops is going to help you do. Not only empower yourself, but also help to empower the people that you work with. Now, one of the things that we talked about was universal design for learning. There is a great video which is published by the NDCO. They got the rights for this from, as you can see, they got it from Ahead, and then they dubbed it down into English. Dubbed it down in English. The poor Irish. They dubbed it down into an Aussie accent. So the link is here. So if you want to introduce people to universal design for learning and you need a good intro video, this is a really good one for you to share. Now, the other thing that we talked about was this universal design for learning course. So when you grab these slides, you've got a link down the bottom here you're able to click on, and that will take you directly into that course. Now I'm going to show you what that looks like. You just come in here. It's a free course, and it's going to look at some of these different areas around UDL, right? So it's just a good place for you to get some of that basic understanding around UDL. But you can see here it's going to talk about the what and the why of UDL, how the networks work around UDL, principles, personalization, those kinds of things as well. So there's a course you can come and go at your own pace, do it in your own time, but it's a really good opportunity for you to, to increase your skills around UDL. So again, when you get those slides, please jump in and have a look at that link at the bottom there. Now, the other thing that we talked about was the ease of access within Windows 10. And you may remember that I talked about personalizing your device specifically around areas of vision, auditory, and also interaction. So if you're on a Windows 10 device, remember it's really easy to do. You just come into your settings on your Windows device, and then you look for ease of access. Now that's true when you're on a Windows 10 machine, but if you're watching this video later on and you've already upgraded to Windows 11, or maybe like me, you're already on Windows 11, then it's really easy to find. Again, you just go into your settings in your Windows device. Instead of looking for ease of access, you just look for accessibility. All right, and that's where you're going to find everything that you need in the one location to make your device more accessible. Now, the other thing we talked about was getting your most up-to-date versions of Office, and also how to access the online version of Office. And that is, we go to www.office.com. Now, if you don't have a Microsoft 365 account through your institution, and you probably do, but if you don't, you can still set up a free account, a free Microsoft account, and then you can use all the online apps over here, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, etc., all for free. You don't need to be buying Office. However, if you're on a Microsoft 365 subscription, after you sign in using your school email address, remember you come over here and click on the Install Office, and that will download and install the latest, greatest version of Office, right? It's a subscription version, and so you will get the most up-to-date version of Office installed on your PC or your Mac, and then it will, because it's a subscription version, it will constantly update for you, all right? So you will constantly be on the latest, greatest version of Office. So keep an eye out for that at office.com. Remember, we also talked about Immersive Reader, right? And so I want to give you this landing page for Immersive Reader. It's got everything or almost everything that you need to know about Immersive Reader. And so the link is here on the slides, but if you want to type that into your URL bar, it's just aka.ms/all-about-immersive-reader, aka.ms/all-about-immersive-reader. And when you click on that, it brings you to this web page. Now, first, there's a nice little instructions and introduction about Immersive Reader. There's a video here that you can watch, which is going to give you a breakdown around Immersive Reader. And then down here is more of sort of a detailed description of Immersive Reader and what it can do. And you can see here, it can improve in comprehension by increasing fluency, etc., etc. It's got the features and it's also got the benefits as well. But then what we've done is we've shown you where Immersive Reader is available and the different features that are available on different tools, all right? So whether you're on OneNote, whether you're on Word, and even if you're on an iPad or a Mac, that information is there for you, okay? There's resources and links and other things, but there's also what's called a click-through. And what a click-through does is it opens up a simulation of the tool and it shows you click here, click there, this does this, this does that, and it talks you through it as you go. So that's on that page as well. We've got case studies that are in there for you as well. There's information around Office Lens and Immersive Reader in Office Lens. There's some really quick, short and sharp how-tos. In here, there's a 90-second demo as well. So if you're wanting to introduce someone to Immersive Reader, certainly you can show them Immersive Reader, but you can also give them this page here and they will find out all about Immersive Reader. Now, another thing that I showed you in our reading episode was I showed you Microsoft Lens, and Microsoft Lens is available for your mobile tools. So whether you're on an Android or an Apple tablet or an Android or an Apple phone, you can go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, look for Microsoft Lens, and you can download that onto your device. Now, you can go back and watch our reading episode and find out all the cool things that it can do, but I just wanted to remind you how to find that. You download it onto your mobile tool at your App Store or your Play Store. Now, one thing that I kind of skipped over when I did the reading resource episode for us in this series was what's called reading progress. Now, reading progress really lends itself to primary school, but it's a strong remedial tool to help measure reading. And the reason I didn't go on about it a lot in our session was because it really is more a K-12 tool, but it can also be used for second language learning. So I just want to draw your attention. There's a nice little link down here which is going to take you to this online course which will tell you all about reading progress and all the cool things that it can do. Now, you remember in our last session we talked about the Microsoft Translator as a support for hard of hearing, deafness, and also for EAL support. So that's at translator.microsoft.com. So you can find that going through your browser, translator.microsoft.com. There are dedicated apps for the iPad, and for your Android tools and your iPhones, etc. And you can find those through your Google Play Store and your App Store. But nevertheless, the best way to access it through your PC or through your Mac is through the browser, translator.microsoft.com. And remembering that what this does is it gives you 10 speech languages and 63 text languages. It allows you to bring 100 participants into the call at one time, and it's really good for captioning and translating and that kind of thing as well. So please remember and jump in and have a look at that. Now, another one that I certainly didn't present to us, because normally we have like a sort of a dedicated workshop around this, is the math support for Microsoft tools. Now, rather than create a special workshop in this series, what I've done is I've given you a link, which is down the bottom here, which goes into one of my workshops. It's about 25 minutes, I think, and it just shows you all the cool things that you can do to support maths with Microsoft tools. Okay, now I've made this for a K-12 audience, this video, but nevertheless, you're still going to get a lot out of it by watching it, even if you're in a higher institution, higher ed institution. But please jump in and have a look at that, because there's some really cool stuff around math tools. We just didn't have time to really go into that in this series, but nevertheless, you can do a deep dive and find out all about it through that. Now, another thing is the accessibility checker in Office. Now, again, we didn't dive into this in a very big way in our sessions, but I want to draw your attention to it. Now, the way that it works is it's built into Office, okay? And when you look for the accessibility checker, you can search for it up here, type in accessibility checker, and it will bring the button to you. I'm just going to go back. I'm going to start that slide again. So what it does is it helps you make your document more accessible, right? So it shows you what needs to be fixed and why you need to fix it, and then it gives you the instructions on how to fix it. So in this case here, it's showing us the alt text that needs to be found, okay? So you can see here it's saying that there's no alt text built into the graphic. So I click on that, it shows me what I need to fix, why it needs to be fixed, the steps to fix it, and then I can do it in there. So it's going to basically let you know all the different ways that your document is not meeting accessibility standards, and then it gives you the instructions on how to fix that and how to do that yourself. So that's called the accessibility checker. Now, another thing I want to draw your attention to is the Disability Answers Desk. I think I made you aware of this a little bit in one of our other sessions, but again, I want to draw your attention to that as well. Now, the Disability Answers Desk is actually quite easy to find. The best way to find the Disability Answers Desk is to open up your favorite search engine and type in Microsoft Disability Answer Desk, all right? So when you get in here, you'll see that we've got all the accessibility resources that you need around Microsoft specific, Office specific, Windows specific, and Microsoft Teams specific. All right, so all those resources, and it doesn't matter if you're not on a Windows device, because whether you're on Office or you're on Teams, on a Mac or some other kind of device, we've still got support for you there. We've got quick solutions as well, again around accessibilities, Windows, Office, and the Windows 10 upgrade. We've got video support. So we've got self-help videos around accessibility that are there for you, as well as some additional video resources. For example, the Microsoft accessibility videos, and our accessibility learning webinar series is in there as well. But when you scroll down, you're going to see there's a 1-800 number. Now, those of you that are coming from another country, don't forget to search for your country specific, but here we are in Australia, and the phone number is here. It's 1-800-280-300, and that runs from 9 till 9 Monday to Friday and 10 till 6 Saturday to Sunday. There is a real person on the end of that call, so you can ring them and you can ask them your accessibility questions in the Microsoft space, okay? So it's not a help desk in terms of, my device isn't working, or I can't get, Word to open. But if you're having accessibility specific questions, how do I do this on Word? How do I, turn on narrator? How do I use immersive reader on my iPad? Then someone is there to help you. Now, outside of that time, there is a 24/7 chat that you can access through that number there. You can also connect to Microsoft Accessibility through Twitter, see our YouTube videos and other bits and pieces in there. And we've also got our accessibility blog, so you can get in there and check that out. So again, what did I do? I went onto my favorite search engine. I look up the Microsoft Disability Answers Desk, and it's my, I would say one-stop shop, but multi-stop shop for what I need in the accessibility space. Now, speaking of technical issues, we have to make sure that your Microsoft environment, your Microsoft 365 environment, is set up to be able to get all these cool accessibility features and tools working. So here's one for the techies, aka.ms/inclusive deployment. That is going to take you to a Microsoft page, a Microsoft Docs page, everything that you need from a technical perspective to get all this set up and running. All right. So again, aka.ms/inclusive deployment. Share this with your techie to make sure at the back end, everything is set up for success in this space. So some of the things that we have explored in this series, okay? The Microsoft accessibility solutions are built in, and we want to help reduce the stigma of learning, and we want to provide students with the tools they need to fully engage their curriculum, each other, and also their teachers. So we've looked at reading, and we saw that Immersive Reader provided a critical link for students who need help to access course content. We looked at writing. We looked at things like dictation combined with Immersive Reader. We also looked at the editor tool to help writing and note-taking more easy and more efficient. And then we also looked at speaking and listening. So we looked at translator, and just then we looked at the alt texting and that kind of stuff built in as well. There's so much that you can do in the Microsoft space to improve classroom experiences, assessments, and also your private independent study. So some of the main tools we looked at Immersive Reader, which is going to help you with comprehension, fluency, and decoding. We looked at word prediction, okay, and the fact that word prediction is inbuilt in Windows 10 and Windows 11, so that you can actually, as you're starting to type, it's going to make those suggestions to you. We looked at Dictate. We looked at Dictate in Office, but remember that Dictate is also built into Windows. We looked at Editor, okay, and Editor worked almost like a tutor to help us, whether we're writing casual writing, formal writing, etc. And then we also looked at ease of access very briefly today to help make your Office documents more accessible to your audience. A couple of other tools that we looked at Translator, okay, and we also looked at Microsoft Lens. And then one thing that we didn't really delve into too much is the fact that Microsoft Stream, which is our video housing tool, will actually create transcripts for your audio and video, and as will Teams now as well. Oftentimes people will come to me and say, okay, where do I find these tools, right? Where is this on the web? Where is this in Outlook? Where is this in OneNote? Where is it on the Mac? Where is it on the PC? And there's so much to tell you. So instead, what we've done is we've built what we call the Microsoft Learning Tools periodic table. And so everything is here where it's found. So for example, if you're looking for Read Aloud, you can see that that's available in OneNote in the desktop, or OneNote for Mac, or Word for the desktop, or Outlook for the web. And so all these different tools down here, where they are found, not just what app, but what platform as well. And you can grab the evergreen version of this, meaning that it will always be up to date, at aka.ms/periodic table learning tools. Grab that one, because by the time you see this video, this might already be dated, all right? So just go into aka.ms/periodic table learning tools, and you can download the most up-to-date version of this document, and it's going to help you know what your students can do, or even what you can do with the tools that you have. Now, some of the research that I shared with you through this course, I want to make available to you as well. That study by the British Dyslexia Association and Noel Hill, when you get these slides, you'll be able to click on the slide and it will take you directly to the article that came from, and then that article has got some other information as well. There's RTI did a third-party study on Immersive Reader, and they found that 4th to 12th grade students actually showed their reading comprehension scores get better, etc. I talked through that before, but nevertheless, there's the link there, aka.ms/learning tool study, so you can grab the research for yourself and not just take my word for it. Another thing that we built, and this is more for your, sort of business admin people and business decision making people in your institution, but it's showing the total economic impact of the Microsoft accessibility and assistive technologies for education. Spoiler alert, you're going to save money ultimately by utilizing these tools, all right? So jumping in and having a look at these, when you get these slides, you'll be able to get the full study, but we just see there's a massive return on investment around using accessibility tools. It's not just about doing the right thing. It's not just about helping people. It makes wise fiscal sense as well. So there's a description of the study, but you can download the full study. But ultimately, it improves student learning, it reduces costs and effort, and it saves time and is more effective. And this is, those I don't know, those Microsoft Excel style people in your institution that need to say, we need a fiscal reason to move forward for this. So please jump in and have a look at those slides and share them with the right people in your school. As we are recording this, it is Dyslexia Awareness Month, October, and I just want to remind you of Code Red Dyslexia Network and all the wonderful stuff that they do in the dyslexia space. They're an advocacy group and they support teachers, they support families, they support students, they support people in the workplace as well. They're just a really great organisation, and Microsoft are very proud to partner with them. So just jump into your favourite search engine, look up Code Red Dyslexia Network, and you'll find all the really awesome stuff that they're doing in Australia. If you're looking internationally, please find the dyslexia organisations that are closer to you. But if you're coming at us from Australia, please jump in and see what Code Red are doing. Okay, so next steps. Let's look at what else we've got for you to continue to explore this. The first one is aka.ms/mech accessibility, aka.ms/mech accessibility. Now, what I love about this page, it is ultimately the best page for you in terms of finding everything you need around the Microsoft accessibility tools. Okay, it is a brilliant launching page for, just to find it all, right? If there's one thing you've got to remember, it's this one, aka.ms/mech accessibility. So you can see here, we've got a little bit of, text-based instruction about what we've got on the page. There's some graphics here. You can right click and download those if you want to share with your colleagues. But what we've done is we've actually broken the Microsoft accessibility stuff into some nice little categories. And the first thing we talk about is teachers as consultants. All right, so making sure that you as a teacher know how to turn this on the best for your students and, and for people that you work with. We've got information about connecting with students and parents. We've got some other stuff on different models of instruction using accessibility tools, data collection. All right, those of you that are in sort of middle management or upper management within schools know that data collection is really important. And so we've got some great tools in that space as well. Setting yourself up for success, and lastly, creating accessible content. Jump down those rabbit holes, you'll find there's a lot there for you. Now, support specifically for students, right? And I don't mean necessarily letting the students read this, I mean stuff that you can use to support your students as well. So reading, writing, and maths, okay, very much a lot of what we've covered here is in there. Stuff around executive function, we've built some resources in there for you. Speech, language, and communication, all right, or what we call speaking and listening, that's all in there. Hearing, mobility, and vision, and stuff around neurodiversity. I know in the chat people have asked, what do you do around neurodiversity? That's where you go and find that out as well. And then multiply impaired, medically fragile, and also stuff around mental health too. So please jump in and have a look at those categories. And then lastly, we've got things specifically for parents about making accommodations, second language learners and their families, category in there, early childhood in there as well, and then also what used to be called gifted and talented, which is now called highly capable and twice exceptional. You can jump in there and explore all the cool stuff that we're doing there. Now, if you would like to learn a whole lot more, I would love you to. And if you come to education.microsoft.com, that's education.microsoft.com, that's going to bring you to our Microsoft Educator Center. Now, the Microsoft Educator Center is your portal for learning. All right, so you can see up here, we've got our training button here. You can come in, you can access your courses, okay? So individual 20-minute, 45-minute, 1-hour courses, but then we've also got our learning paths. So our learning paths are groups of courses that we've put together that you can do in a linear fashion, which will build upon each other, and you'll come out with, you know, a whole heap of learning and a whole heap of understanding around this space. It's not just about accessibility, but you will find a whole heap of courses around accessibility. Now, what I suggest that you look for, the key word really is inclusive. So as you start to type the word inclusive, you will see a whole heap of individual courses around inclusivity. All right, empowering students with an inclusive classroom, creating inclusive environments, cultural leadership, those kinds of things as well. I really want to stress that these courses are not just about product, they're about pedagogy, they're about learning with the product sort of woven through. So it becomes really useful to you as an educator. But our learning paths, as I said, those groups of courses, again, if you start to type inclusive and put that in, you'll see we've got inclusive classroom courses, groups of courses. So you can see here, this is actually 4.5 or nearly 5 hours of PD around things like inclusivity, inclusive digital literacy, etc. So again, I really encourage you to get in there and have a look at that. One course in particular is the Inclusive Classroom Specialisation, 9 hours worth of PD. Get in there, find that one. I promise you it'll knock your socks off. It's absolutely brilliant. Now, remember I was talking to you before about that click-through for Immersive Reader. We have other click-throughs, okay? And one in particular is around the writing tools, the inclusive writing tools. So aka.ms/inclusive writing demo. Go in there. It'll tell you, there's a voice telling you click here, click there. You can follow through and get a real sort of experiential movement through these tools. We have another one specifically for maths as well. Please remember, it's inclusive math demo, not maths. A lot of people want to throw that S in and then they get taken to a different location, but it's, the mothership's in the US, so it's math. aka.ms/inclusive math demo will take you through and show you all the cool stuff we have in that space. On top of that video that I showed you before, right? And then around speaking and listening, again, we call that inclusive communication. So aka.ms/inclusive communication demo. This is your walkthrough. This is your click through, which is going to show you what it looks like with the device in front of you. So instead of me talking at you, you get to experience it yourself. Now, another one I want to share with you is what's called the teacher training packs, and that's aka.ms/teacher training packs, aka.ms/teacher training packs. Now, the teacher training packs are a series of courses, all right, that we have built around different areas of learning. They tend to be sort of leaning towards a K-12 sort of thing, but I promise you from a higher ed, TAFE environment, you'll just make a couple of tweaks and they'll be wonderful for you, all right? But the ones that we've got down here are inclusive classrooms, and we've got 3 courses on that. Now, the reason why I'm drawing your attention to these is teacher training packs are not for self-directed learning, although you could use it that way. What it's really about is it's for you to run professional development for your colleagues and staff. So if you are a teacher trainer, or if you are someone that runs teacher training, you can actually come down here to these courses, open them up. For example, let's jump into this one, mobile tools. And you can see this is a 1.3 hour PD that you will run presenter led. All right, so we've given you all the bits and pieces that you need, the handouts, the PowerPoint decks, the links to videos, everything that you need to run this workshop. And then you can run it for your colleagues. All right, you can run it for people inside your school. So the ones that we have specifically are the mobile tools for inclusive classrooms. That's a 1.3 hour workshop that you can run for your staff. And remember, you can break this up into any way you want. You can have it as 2 45 minutes, whatever you want to do. We've got a 4-hour workshop on literacy tools for inclusive classrooms. And then we have an 8-hour workshop in interactive instructional tools for inclusive classroom. There's a little bit of overlap in some of these, but you get in, you can draw out what's useful to you, or you can run it straight out of the box. There's scripts, there's all kinds of stuff in there for you to access. Now, on the back of the teacher training packs, we looked at them and we thought, okay, wouldn't it be great to be able to do this for parents? So what we've done is we've built what's called the Inclusive Classroom Parent Information Session, right? Or the Inclusive Classroom Parent Kit. Now, what we've done there is that we have created detailed instructions and scripts, PowerPoint decks, links to videos and resources, and handouts, etc. So what it looks like is this, and you can now run workshops and training for parents and caregivers of your students. So that way that those parents can support the students at home with these tools, because there'd be nothing worse than the kids get a great experience at school because the teachers know how to use them. They get home and there's nobody to support them. So carers, caregivers, families, parents, etc. Can access this. But again, it's not that you hand this to the parent and said, go and learn. You actually run this, whether digitally, virtually, face-to-face, you run the course. And yeah, so it's about 2 hours worth. You can break it down into, you know, multiple sessions if you want, but the parents will learn a lot of these reading and writing tools, and even some of the math tools. So access that, aka.ms/ICPK, aka.ms/ICPK. Another link that I've got for you, you can see these slides are just worth their weight in gold, right? Because you're going to go back and explore these. But a teacher has actually built an accessibility guide for educators around the Microsoft tools. Little instructions, little videos, graphics, all that kind of stuff. It's a really nice resource to have. So I thought I'd share that with you. And there's the link there. So when you get the slides, you can jump in and have a look. Now, don't forget my videos. You might actually be already watching this as a video rather than live, but nevertheless, aka.ms/TroyYT. This is where I store my videos around the inclusive classroom, right? So even this series will actually be stored on there as well. So you can go and do a much deeper dive, or even watch this again and, you know, relive the experience in sort of, you know, a more in-depth way. However you want to access that, aka.ms/TroyYT. Let me show you what that looks like. So you come to my landing page here at YouTube, and then you've got the accessibility and learning support for K-12 playlist here, and the accessibility and learning support for higher ed and TAFE is here. And so it's got, like I said, these videos that you're watching right now, other videos as well. Would love you to get in and have a look at those. And if you've got people and friends in the K-12 space, steer them back to that one too. The other one I'd want to draw your attention to is Mike Tholfsen's YouTube page. And so Mike is a program manager in the US, and he's made some wonderful videos. And the difference between Mike's videos and my videos is his are really snackable. His are short little sharp videos on how to do certain things in the Microsoft space, whereas mine are these sort of, you know, 45-hour long sort of webinars. His are more little short and sharp. So you can use them, share them with your colleagues, but you can also share them with your students. But he's got a specific playlist or groups of playlists, accessibility and the inclusive classroom playlists. So jump in there and have a look at those. I've got some other links for you here to look at. There's a link directly to the Disability Answers desk, but the Microsoft Accessibility YouTube channel is worth its weight in gold. You can go in there. There's short and sharp videos. There's longer deep dive videos, but these people know their stuff, and they've made some wonderful videos. Also, if you're on Twitter, at MSFT Enable will take you to Microsoft Accessibility's Twitter handle, where you can ask questions. People get back to you. There's some really great resources on there. And I've also thrown in a couple of ebooks that are worth exploring around some of the things that have happened in the Microsoft space around accessibility. Couple of more generic resources: support.office.com/education, support.office.com/education. This is your landing page for things around education in the Microsoft space. So there's a little bot there that you can type in your question and the bot will bring you to the right articles, but there's things around Teams and OneNote and Class Notebook. There's a student information center. I really, you know, just want to share this with you because it is a good resource, and I hope that you'll find a lot in there. Sometimes when people ask me questions and I don't know the answer, this is where I go. So skip the middleman and go straight to this and, find the answers for yourself. Another really good one is people want sort of basic generic training around Office, www.office.com/training, office.com/training. And you can see here, it's training around Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, a lot of those basics and those basics tools that we've been using for a really long time, but they mature all the time, right? And people, don't know how to use a lot of these features. So there's quick start guides, there's videos, training templates, all in there. So jump in and have a look at that. All right, we're nearly done. We're nearly done, not only with this session, but with this series. So lastly, I want to help you redefine what's possible in your institution. It's not enough to learn all this and then just sit on it and do nothing with it. I really want you to help spread the word, because this stuff is available to almost all your students, in fact, almost all students in the country, and we've made it free to all schools. Okay, but even if you haven't got a paid subscription, haven't got one of the free institution subscriptions, a lot of those tools are available to everybody at office.com. But I want you to tell students, I want you to tell your lecturers and tutors, right, your colleagues in that space. Student support staff need to know about this. Support professionals and carers. Institution decision makers need to know about this stuff, that there's ways to save money and turn it on and help people, but also families and others, right? Caregivers and others in people's lives that support people with challenges. So again, as it says there, I invite you to discover how to use this technology, personalize learning, and empower not just yourself, but those around you. Again, grab the slides, okay? aka.ms/NDCO, aka.ms/NDCO has got not only these slides, but the slides from the other sessions as well, with all the links and, bits and pieces in there. And then lastly, as I say in all my workshops, I would love you to stay connected with me. You'll find me on Twitter, you'll find me on LinkedIn, you'll find me on Facebook. I will be publishing case studies and links to feature updates and the latest tools and stuff that's going on in the Microsoft space. These are all my professional channels. So if you connect with me on there, it'll just start to appear in your feed. So again, I'd love you to connect with me. Look me up on those channels. Okay, so that's it. That's it for this session, and that's it for this whole series of 5 videos on the inclusive classroom from Microsoft and your, favorite NDCO. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've got a lot out of it. Remember, all these resources aren't going anywhere. Find something that's relevant to you, jump in, learn all about it, and tell others. Because as I said, most of these resources are really accessible and, aren't going to cost you anything. So my name's Troy. I'm from Microsoft Australia Education. Thank you for being a part of today. Thank you for being a part of the series, and I hope to see you out in the real world sometime soon.